the Pentagon's top brass testified before the House and Senate. General Mark Milley and others told lawmakers they thought it would be best to keep some troops in Afghanistan instead of making a total withdrawal. Here's what they said.
I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. And I also recommended earlier in the fall of 2020 that we maintain 4,500 at that time. Those are my personal views.
And there was a fulsome debate on all of that. And once decisions are made, then I'm expected to execute lawful orders.
That contradicts in part what President Biden told ABC last month.
So no one told, your military advisors did not tell you, no, we should just keep 2,500 troops. It's been a stable situation for the last several years. We can do that. We can continue to do that.
No, no one said that to me that I can recall.
A striking moment there. Natasha, what are the impacts here of generals going on Capitol Hill, essentially contradicting the president? And how did that land both at the White House, but also in the Pentagon and with national security officials?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that there's been no loss of trust, really, by the president and his national security officials. What I think the White House perception of this was they wanted the generals to go to the Capitol Hill and tell the truth. And that's what the generals were also doing with President Biden over the last several months, telling him that the reality is that once troops do withdraw, then the Afghan army is going to collapse and there's going to be a power vacuum, and the Taliban, which has been steadily gaining strength, is going to take over. The reality of this, though, is that Joe Biden has wanted to get out for well over a decade. He's been determined to do that. And so the generals are not, like Mark Milley said, like Secretary Austin said, they are not there to make policy. They are not going to resign if they disagree with the president. Their only job is to give him the best advice that they can. Now, the president kind of caught himself by saying, I can't recall. That kind of gave him a little bit of wiggle room there. But it is...
Smart move by him, because right. I can't recall.
Exactly. I mean, but it is against all reporting even before that moment to say that none of his military advisors were telling him that there should be troops remaining.
And Carl, how did this land on Capitol Hill? And also, are Democrats worried about whether or not this Afghanistan story is going to follow them into the 2024, 2022 elections?
I think there is a concern. And I think that politically, this was about a competency issue. This was an administration that was supposed to come in. You mentioned earlier, President Biden has this great foreign affairs background, and they were going to be able to do these things. It didn't go off very smoothly. I think the Republicans are looking at this now, it's like, well, we can attack them on competency, and this can be an opening into foreign relations. But, the story to me has faded pretty quick from the front pages. And I think, if you talk to people, what's the staying power of Afghanistan? People in America, polls show we're ready to have this over with. I'm just not convinced that it's good. There's so much other stuff going on that this might not be the issue that Republicans think it is.
We only have about a minute left, so I'm going to try to split it between you two ladies. Laura, I want to come to you really quickly. Is that right? Does the White House, they don't sound concerned when I talk about them. They think that the White House will be able to turn a corner here. What are you hearing?
Yeah, the Biden wanted to make this decision, and I think no matter what the generals were going to say to him, he was going to decide that he was going to be the last president that was in Afghanistan, and his White House is pretty much convinced that when 2022 rolls around, voters are not going to be having this front and center in their minds as much.
Last 10 seconds, see, your national security reporter. Where does this go next?
No, that's exactly right. And they were actually relying a lot on public opinion being on their side during the withdrawal, right before the withdrawal, saying that the public has been wanting to get out of Afghanistan for quite some time. So I think they're hoping that that stays as well.
Yeah, and I should say, when I talk to White House officials, they are more concerned, it sounds, like making sure that infrastructure goes through and all of the things that we saw this week really go through. And they think that President Biden will eventually be seen as doing the right thing in the eyes of history.